Yo, what's up with y'all, man? I hope you're doing good. If you're new and you're a fan of the NBA, subscribe to this channel. So let's get straight into it.
It's like it's Minute Maid, hijack 4, renegade, 24, number 8, Kobe shit fade away, ballin' since 11th grade, still in school, let them hate.
So I noticed that for whatever reason, y'all literally love when I talk about the NBA draft, and I love seeing those numbers, but not only that, I love seeing y'all's engagement and excitement over this type of content. So we're continuing with this draft one with by far the highest requested video on my channel, NBA draft comparison. But before I give you guys 10 to 11 minutes of pure entertainment, I'm gonna need something out of you. Okay, hold on. I just made that sound really suspicious. Let me rephrase that. I'm gonna need you guys to subscribe to my clothing brand channel. Why, you may ask? Well, by the time you're watching this video, my very first 1v1 basketball video just dropped. So right after this video, go ahead and watch that banger and also subscribe to the Rusty and Mojo Show. It's the podcast channel and things are heating up over there. Don't make another poor decision today and go ahead and check out those up and coming exciting things. As you all know, the 2020 NBA draft is finally creeping upon us. We actually have a set timetable and date to look forward to. And now is my time to finally reveal my 2020 NBA draft comparisons. First up is LaMelo Ball, of course. LaMelo Ball is by far the most aesthetically pleasing hooper in contention for the #1 overall pick. He's a flashy 6'7" PG who has advanced passing ability. Passing abilities that I believe that nobody should have at that age. It's too deadly and lethal of a weapon for someone that young to have in their holster. And he's also a bucket getter with advanced ball handling skills. His dribble moves, head fakes, headies, and slipperiness on the court makes his performances on the court a joy to see. It truly feels entertaining. He has glitter and glare to his playstyle. He's loaded with swag on the court, and pretty much everything he does it with style. Now, finding LaMelo Ball's comparison in today's NBA was literally an impossible thing to do. In order to find this unique guard's comparison, here we go again. This is my time machine. Just like last year's comparison video, we gotta bring this up again. Now, if you're new around here, you probably don't know what this is, and you probably don't know what's going on right now, and you're probably thinking about clicking off this video. Don't do that. To catch you slow people up who haven't caught up to the program, I basically only bring this bad boy out when I'm talking about players from the past, which is something that I rarely do, so you already know that I put hella effort into this video. So go ahead and whoop that like button for me before you forget. 2 words, white chocolate, but no, not that type, but this type. This white chocolate brought us a different type of satisfaction and excitement. Rather than pleasing our stomachs, this man right here by the name of Jason Williams was pleasing our eyes, because he was a pleasure to see whenever he was handling the rock. I know he's not known as one of the greatest players of all time, but he's definitely by far one of the more entertaining ones because of his generational ability to pass the basketball. He's manipulative and he deceives defenses with elusive head fakes and no-look passes. Now, his assist numbers may not show that he was truly special at passing the ball, but he has the reputation of being one of the greatest to do it in the NBA. Now, of course, physically this man shows no comparisons to LaMelo Ball. Bro, he was 6 foot and 1 inches tall. Meanwhile, LaMelo Ball is out here 6'7" with a 6'10" wingspan. What they do share is a generational passing talent and just how they deliver the ball with the flick of the wrist. These two have utterly similar mannerisms and have the ability to read opposing defenses in very similar ways. So listen up, I believe that there's 2 different types of good passers in the NBA. This is what separates the good from the great. There's the simple read and react type passers. Now, those are good, but they aren't great. There's them, and then there's proactive passers who are able to see what happens on the court before it actually happens. They tend to throw out predicted pinpoint passes. Now, when it comes to LaMelo Ball, passing is by far the greatest strength of his game. Physically, and also when he has the ball in his hands attacking the defense, he reminds me of Paul George, only because of his ability to cook up creative combos on the court. He has that same exact gift as Paul George to make sharp changes in direction. Outside of that, in their wingspan and heights, they're not comparable at all. Now, those are the 2 best comparisons that I could have came up with. Now, I know they aren't perfect, and I usually don't struggle that much when it comes to comparing prospects, but that just goes to show that LaMelo is special and that he's one of the more unique prospects that we've seen in a minute. I just compared him to a small forward named Pandemic P and one of the greatest passers of all time. Bro, he's a weird one. But this weird one has the ability to do a lot of things that the average PG out there can't do. He could easily be one of the more lethal PGs out there. The passing is there, and also the scoring potential is also there as well. So there you go, there's my very first comparison of this video. He has similar abilities of attacking the defense with the ball in his hands as Paul George, but when it comes to passing that thing around the court and doing all these pretty fakes, he's comparable to Jason Williams. The second most noticeable star-studded prospect in this class is Anthony Edwards. Now this segment of this video really shouldn't take that long, because Anthony isn't that unique of a prospect compared to LaMelo, but nonetheless he's still a very interesting one. Now I think I'm allowed to say it, and I really won't face major repercussions because of the tone of my skin. But because the amount of pigment and melanin that Anthony Edwards has on his skin, bro, he's black. And because of how he's physically built, his comparison is literally the easiest thing to guess on this planet. It literally gives up his comparison. It doesn't take nothing but 2-3 seconds of watching his play to tell who he plays like. It's not that hard to guess at all, bro, and I may not be able to provide you guys with any new information about this comp, but because of his build and a whole bunch of similarities that lie within his game and the lack of an alarming weakness on the court for him, his comparison is Victor Oladipo. There's no other comparison out there that's as pinpoint as this one. Now of course he has strides to reach as a player, they all do, but none of his weaknesses seem that unreachable compared to others, largely thanks to his large, ironic enough, frame. But someone else who I feel like he can draw comparisons from is Bradley Beal. Again, he's a big body 2 guard who's athletic and has a good repertoire of moves. Ironic enough, just 2-3 days ago I watched an interview of him speaking on Bradley Beal.
NBA player do you see yourself as?
I feel like a shooting guard, loving to score the ball, but also get my teammates involved, like a Bradley Beal or something like that.
Now something that Bradley Beal and Victor Oladipo have in common is that they both aren't worthy of being the #1 option on a championship type team, and I really don't think that Ant-Man has the same ability to be so either. He's going to be on those guys' same tier if he reaches his max potential. These are all big guards who have a good amount of finesse but not too much, who are good shooters, very capable creators, and have no legitimate weakness on the court. Over the last few months, a prospect that I've grown a lot of love for is Deni Avdija. A lot of people cannot make up their minds about Deni, and I used to be a part of the a lot of people demographic up until now. Now Deni doesn't strike me as the type to be a superstar, and maybe even a star. He gives me possible consistent all-star vibes, someone you'd love to have on your team because he'll do all the right things. So because of that, I came up with 2 different player comparisons. Now here's the first one. Now when I say it, I really don't want you to laugh or like not to take me that serious as an NBA content creator. But the first one is Alex Caruso. Now listen. He does a lot of useful things on the basketball court just like Alex. The main difference is between the two though is that Alex is not naturally talented or gifted at all. Deni is. So as I quickly evade that combo and enter a new one, let's get into my second comparison. And my second comparison is Ben Simmons. Now it's clear as day that Alex Caruso and Ben Simmons do a lot of great things on the basketball court, but they just don't excel when it comes to scoring, and they're also one of the better athletes as well. They're some of the best playmakers on the court without having to actually assist the ball. Deni's instincts and ability to get up and down the court gives me a 6'10" gifted Alex Caruso vibe, and his quick passing instincts remind me of Ben Simmons. And also they have very similar frames as well. I believe they both stand at 6'10", so I obviously wouldn't count on Deni Avdija being the best player on a championship type roster one day, but the idea of that being a possibility still obviously lives. I'd rather put my bets on him being by far the most impactful on the roster. One of the more solid and surefire productive players out of this class is Tyrese Haliburton. Tyrese Haliburton is the type of player to have all NBA stat nerds fall in love with him, and he's also the type to have people who rather watch and enjoy aesthetically pleasing basketball, all the flashy players, people like that hate him. Now let me get into why that's so. Tyrese is a net positive basketball player who makes sweet love to advanced stats. He's a low risk type player in the draft. He's someone who seems very stable. He's a great catch and shoot player. He has very solid vision and he also plays defense, and plus he's 6'5". Tyrese is really not the flashiest on the court nor eye-catcher, so the likeliness of him being a star really isn't that high at all. I don't see him making no consistent all-star teams. He's not going to appear on their time making some crazy play. He's just not going to be one of the more popular players in the NBA whatsoever. But what I do see him as is a star role player. Everybody has those around the league. Someone who is hella reliable, hella stable, but yet hella boring. He's the complete opposite of Melo Ball. He has no flash or swag. He just does the basics of basketball and he gets the job done. And for that, the perfect comparison for him is Malcolm Brogdon. Malcolm Brogdon isn't a star, we all know this, but he's a difference maker who has the same type of impact as an all-star. Both aren't crazy ball handlers. You would never ever see them do any crazy crossovers. They aren't the best off the dribble shooters, and they aren't lacking significantly in any aspect of the game. Just like Malcolm Brogdon, Tyrese Haliburton is as solid as they get. This was my 2020 NBA draft comparisons video. Now I know, you don't have to get on me in the comment section. I cut this video just a bit short, but I did that purposely. If you want me to make a part 2, I really need you to destroy that like button. If this video right here reaches 1,000 or 1,200 likes, I'll get the next video part 2 out as soon as possible, and I'll finish the rest of the lottery prospect. And while you're pounding that like button, why don't you go ahead and subscribe to the Evolve channel, the Rusty Mojo Show, and also I want you to comment down below your thoughts, and I want you to make sure that you have a great day. Until then, I'll get right with you.
No way, remember back when I couldn't get a play, no home, I ain't have a place to stay, I got to work, made it free the way, told my girl who'd ever